is always A. B is B at 2 a.m. in Africa, Asia, or the Bronx. That's why we call them characters. They never adjust to the clock, the culture, or your crisis. C is still C when you are tired, when you are tempted, when you are triumphant. Write it down. Characters don't change. That's what makes them readable. That's what makes them trustworthy. Imagine if the letters shifted every morning, what would books become? Babel. Confusion. If the alphabet can't be trusted, language collapses. If your character can't be trusted, leadership collapses. Tweet that to somebody right now. Numbers never negotiate. 1 is always 1. 2 is always 2. Add them in China. Subtract them in Chile. Divide them in Cairo. Mathematics doesn't bow to moods. Principles are like that. Write it down. Principles are laws, they never change. You can ignore a principle, but you can never disagree with it. You can step off a 10-story building, convinced that gravity respects your feelings. It will still escort you to the ground with the same consistency. Leadership must be built on that kind of consistency. Character is simply integrity, oneness. The same at dawn, the same at dusk, the same in private, the same in public. Now let me bring this into your office, your home, your cabinet meeting. If your character shifts, trust collapses. Without trust, there is no leadership, only management of fear. And fear is expensive. It demands surveillance, suspicion, sanctions. Trust is cheaper. It runs on predictability. Character produces predictability. Write that down. Character is the weight of your words. When you speak, people measure the load and decide if it can carry their future. If your words are light, they will not place their destiny on you. A boss uses people, a leader serves purpose. Which are you? Tweet that. Scripture anchors us here. For I am the Lord, I do not change. Malachi 3-6. That is why he can be trusted. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Hebrews 13-8. Stability is the root of credibility. The Shema declares, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Deuteronomy 6-4. Holiness means oneness, integrity, not fractured, not split. When God says, be holy, for I am holy, 1 Peter 1:16, he is not asking you to be spooky, he is commanding you to be one, integrated, whole. Write this down. Integrity is oneness, not perfection. The foundation of trust is integrity. Let me tell you a story. I once sat with a young executive, let's call him Daniel. Brilliant mind, fast rise, louder suits than wisdom. On Monday, he promised his team a new direction. On Wednesday, he reversed it because a bigger voice intimidated him. By Friday, he apologized with tears and talent. His people complied, yes, but they tightened, they whispered, they watched the door. Production dipped, innovation died. Why? He had authority on paper, but inconsistency in practice. He managed fear. He did not lead trust. 6 months later, he was working twice as hard to move people half as far. Hear me. Inconsistency creates resistance. Consistency creates momentum. Proverbs 11:3 says, the integrity of the upright shall guide them, but the crookedness of the treacherous destroys them. Integrity guides. Duplicity confuses. Psalm 15 describes the person who may dwell in God's presence. The one who swears to his own hurt and does not change. Psalm 15:4. That means if I say it, I carry it, even when it costs me. Honesty is my only policy. Write it down. Character is self-imposed discipline. Not imposed by police, not policed by public opinion, but chosen in the dark when no one is watching. There is no such thing as a private life. Your secret life is your real life. It is the alphabet you write with when no one else holds the pen. Leaders, listen, when your standards move with your emotions, your influence moves away from you. People will follow your title to keep their jobs, but they will not follow your life to find their destiny. And leadership is not about keeping jobs safe. It's about making purpose clear. What are you building, an audience of the afraid or a community of the assured? Write it down. Trust is the oxygen of leadership. Without it, the room fills with panic and politics. Think of statues. We call them statues because they are stationary. They don't flinch at midnight. They don't wink for a bribe. Their power is their predictability. That is why monuments move nations. How predictable is your life? Can your team set their watch by your word? Can your spouse plan their peace around your promises? James 1-8 warns, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Unstable in all his ways, boardroom, bedroom, bankroom. When you are two, you are through, be one. I'm confronting you because I care about your future. Your charisma can get you a crowd. Only your character can keep them safe. Your gift can open the door. Only your integrity can hold the house up. So here is your foundation assignment. Fix your alphabet, lock your numbers. Decide what will never change about you, codify it. I do not lie. I do not steal. I keep my word. I serve purpose, not ego. Lock yourself in the prison of your convictions and throw away the key. Write it down. Tweet it. Tell your children. Tell your team. A boss uses people. A leader serves purpose. Which are you? Choose today. Because when character is unchanging, leadership becomes effortless influence. When character is changing, leadership reduces the control, and control suffocates. Lead with your life, and your life stable, integrated, consistent will become the law people gladly trust. Now we turn the key to the core revelation. Genesis 1:26. Hear it with fresh ears. Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion. Image before dominion. Character before power. Identity before authority. Write it down. God did not give dominion to an unformed image. He did not hand power to a split soul. He established likeness, then released leadership. That is a law. You can ignore it, but you cannot disagree with it. Violate it, and the consequences come with the same certainty that morning follows night. Power given to a fractured person magnifies the fracture. Power given to an integrated person magnifies integrity. Principles are laws, they never change. Gravity will not negotiate with your excitement or your enthusiasm. Step off a building singing in perfect pitch, and gravity will escort you down on schedule. In the same way, if you reach for dominion before you develop image, the fall is guaranteed. Not because God is mean, but because God is law. I, the Lord, do not change. Malachi 3:6. His consistency is your safety. Your consistency is your legitimacy. The Shema declares, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Deuteronomy 6:4. Holiness is oneness. Oneness is integrity. Integrity is image. When you are one, you can be trusted with many. Tweet that. Let me make this painfully clear. A boss seeks dominion without image. A leader governs dominion with image. The boss craves the chair. The leader carries a character. The boss needs control. The leader embodies conviction. Write it down. The title on your door can give you access to the room, but only your image, your consistent oneness gives you authority in the room. Power does not corrupt. Power reveals corruption. Authority does not make you. Authority unmasks you. When some people get promoted, they don't change, they are merely exposed. Luke 12:48 says, to whom much is given, much is required. Much power requires much integrity. Without it, the more you get, the more dangerous you become. Think electricity. Power without insulation burns the house down. Dominion is the current. Character is the insulation. You don't pray for more voltage if your wires are bare. You fix your insulation. Write it down. Ambition without alignment is arson. Another picture. A river becomes destructive when it leaves its banks. The banks are laws. The flow is power. Remove the banks, and the same water that gives life will destroy a city. Power is never safe by itself. Power is safe when it is banked by principle. You can never disagree with the principle. Adam received the mandate, but before the mandate came the model. After our likeness, God installs his image, then assigns Eden, tasks, names, stewardship. Even the tree of the knowledge of good and evil was a character exam. Submitting to boundaries proves integrity. Dominion without boundaries is not leadership. It is lawlessness with good lighting. Proverbs 29:2 says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Why do they rejoice? Because righteousness is predictability. Righteousness is safe power. Righteous dominion is power that has passed the image test. I sat once with a newly minted mayor, young, articulate, press loved. Cameras loved his smile. His city loved his promise. 3 months in, his office began to leak chaos. Decisions shifted. Contracts favored friends. Midnights told the truth. Listen, positions do not create predators. Positions expose appetites. He was not ruined by the mayor's seat. The seat simply amplified the music already playing in his secret life. Power does not corrupt. Power reveals corruption. If you are for sale in a studio apartment, you will be for sale in a state house. If you cheat for pennies, you will cheat for millions. He who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much. And he who is unjust in least is unjust also in much. Luke 16:10. Write it down. So here's the principle that splits bosses from leaders. Image governs dominion. Character regulates capacity. Identity disciplines influence. The boss ignores the sequence, reaches for the scepter, and then uses force to hide his fractures. The leader honors the sequence, cultivates image, and then its fruit governs without shouting. Bosses need threats. Leaders need trust. Bosses impose. Leaders inspire. Bosses push. Leaders pull. Everybody say sequence. Keep the sequence sacred. Your Creator did. You cannot reorder creation and expect creation to respect you. Some of you are praying for elevation while neglecting integration. Stop asking for more territory until you are one person in all territories. Write it down. The boardroom you want will mirror your bedroom you hide. There is no such thing as a private life. God's order is public. Image before dominion. That is why Joseph could sit in a prison with integrity and later sit in a palace with influence. His image did not shift with the furniture. That is why Samson, with gifted strength but fractured discipline, collapsed under his own ungoverned appetite. Same power, different image. One rose, one fell. The principle never changed. Let me confront your theology of success. Favor is not a substitute for formation. Opportunity is not character. Doors can open faster than you can grow. Don't mistake access for approval. Write it down. Gift is given, character is forged. You are born with potential. You must build principles. When I coach leaders, I don't first ask, what's your vision? I ask, what's your constitution? What won't you change? What laws govern you? Because the day you receive dominion, small team, big budget, trending platform, growing church, that day will be the day the spotlight interrogates your soul. The lights do not lie. They simply magnify. Here is your application. Submit your power to principle. Fast your ego. Put your authority on a diet of accountability. Chain your gift to your convictions. Gravity will not negotiate. Neither will the consequences of ungoverned dominion. If you want more influence, tighten your image. If you want lasting power, deepen your principles. If you desire dominion that blesses and does not burn, be one. Be holy, for I am holy. 1 Peter 1:16. Be integrated. Be consistent. Be whole. Write this final line and teach it to your team. God gave image before dominion because power is safest in the custody of character. Bosses bypass image and end up using force. Leaders build image and end up producing fruit. Choose your order, and your order will choose your outcome. Lead with your life. Image first, then dominion. Now let me show you the shocking difference. Two kinds of people occupy chairs of authority. Those who impose power and those who earn influence. Write it down. Imposed power is borrowed thunder. Earned influence is native light. Imposed power leans on titles, threats, and proximity to payroll. Do it because I said so. Do it because I signed your check. That is force. Earned influence leans on trust, results, and service to purpose. Follow me because I am carrying something that feeds you. That is fruit. By their fruits you shall know them. Matthew 7:16. Not by their fonts on the business card, not by their followers on the app. Fruit. Imposed power needs volume. It shouts. It emails in red caps. It CCs legal. It lives on surveillance, suspicion, and sanctions. Listen to me. Fear is expensive. It drains creativity, kills initiative, and breeds secret sabotage. When people obey only because they are afraid, they will do the minimum to avoid pain. That is why imposed power requires constant policing. Force can move bodies, it cannot move hearts. Earned influence is cheaper and stronger. It creates voluntary energy. People rise early because they want in, not because they fear being locked out. They bring you their best ideas without demanding a reward, because your life has convinced them their gift will be honored, their purpose will be served, and their future is safe. Tweet that right now. Jesus drew a line in the sand for leaders. The kings of the Gentiles lorded over them, and those who exercise authority over them call themselves benefactors. But you shall not be so. Instead, the greatest among you should be like the youngest, and the one who rules like the one who serves. Luke 22:25-26. That is not a suggestion. That is a law. You can ignore it, but you cannot disagree with it. Write it down. Lords impose, servants produce fruit. The King of Kings washed feet to show us that influence is earned by service, not demanded by status. That's why when he spoke, people said he taught them as one having authority and not as the scribes. Matthew 7:29. Authority showed up as authenticity. Fruit produced followership without force. Let me paint it for you. Two supervisors ran two identical warehouses in the same city, Mr. Clark and Miss Purpose. Mr. Clark measured everything by the time card. He patrolled the aisles like a jailer. He rationed bathroom breaks, questioned every conversation, threatened every tardy worker. His team hit quotas barely, and the moment he left the room exhaled relief. Miss Purpose ran the other building. She gathered her team every Monday and asked one question: whose problem are we solving this week? She tied every task to a purpose, every role to a gift, every metric to meaning. She corrected quietly, praised publicly, and kept her own promises like they were sacred. Her team not only hit quotas, they innovated new processes, wrote their own training guides, and covered for one another. People lined up to join her floor. Mr. Clark had vacancies. Same company, same pay, different spirit. One led with force, one led with fruit. Results told the truth. Write this in your notes. True leaders never seek followers, they attract them. The tree does not chase the birds. The birds find the tree with fruit. Your gift is your leadership fruit. Serve with it, and followers appear without you begging, bribing, or bullying. I tell young pastors and fresh CEOs the same thing. Stop advertising your authority and start cultivating your orchard. Grow consistency, grow competence, grow care. Bees don't attend marketing meetings. Bees go where flowers bloom. Tweet that. Here is the identity checkpoint, and I want you to face it with brutal honesty. If you must coerce, you do not lead, you simply boss. If your go-to tool is intimidation, you are bankrupt in trust. If you weaponize your title to compensate for the emptiness of your fruit, your influence has already expired, you just haven't seen the cancellation notice yet. John 10:27 says, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. Why do they follow? Recognition, trust, provision. The shepherd's credibility, proven over time, becomes irresistible guidance. That is earned influence. Someone will say, but people are stubborn, you must be tough. Listen carefully. Toughness is not the same as threat. Principle is tough. Clarity is tough. Consistency is tough. Write it down. Principle can rebuke without humiliating. Clarity can correct without crushing. Consistency can demand excellence without demeaning dignity. Force, on the other hand, is lazy leadership. It is the shortcut of the insecure. Imposed power is the crutch you grab when your character can't carry your call. Proverbs 20:28 declares, mercy and truth preserve the king, and by love and kindness he upholds his throne. Not by fear, not by manipulation. Thrones stand when character stands. When your people trust your truthfulness and feel your kindness, they will voluntarily crown you with influence every day you walk in the room. That crown cannot be bought. It must be born. Honesty is my only policy. Your word is your weight. If your promises are heavy, people will gladly place their future on them. If your promises are light, they will carry their future away from you. Let me bring it into your living room. Parents impose power, slaps the table and shouts, because I'm your father. Earned influence kneels and lives the life it requires. Children may obey your voice for a season, but they will live your example for a lifetime. Your staff is the same. Your spouse is the same. Your citizens are the same. There is no such thing as a private life. The life you live in secret is the sermon your team hears in public. So choose today. Will you build a regime of fear or a culture of fruit? Write it down. Bosses push with force. Leaders pull with purpose. Bosses hire compliance. Leaders inspire commitment. Bosses collect titles. Leaders produce testimony. And here is the unchanging principle. When fruit shows up, force becomes unnecessary. People will follow you because your life feeds them, your work blesses them, and your integrity protects them. That is earned influence. That is leadership. Lead with your life. Now we audit the soul, not your resume, the room you keep locked, not your brand, the browser you think is private. Hear me. There is no such thing as a private life. Write it down. The secret life is the true life. The private you is the powerful you for good or for evil. Jesus said it straight. For there is nothing covered that will not be revealed, nor hidden that will not be known. Whatever you have spoken in the dark will be heard in the light. Luke 12:2-3. You can ignore that. You cannot disagree with it. Principle is law. If you don't want to shout it on the housetops, don't whisper it in the hallway at 2 a.m. Tweet that. Here is the question that determines whether your influence is legitimate or counterfeit. Who are you at 2 a.m.? Not who you are at 10 a.m. on the stage with a microphone. Who are you when you land late? The hotel room is quiet. The channel guide is open. The minibar is stocked. And no one is calling. Who are you when a client emails you a small favor in exchange for a bigger future? Who are you when the notification pings from a number that's not your spouse at a time that's not appropriate? Write it down. Consistency in secret legitimizes authority in public. If your secret contradicts your sermon is a performance. If your inbox contradicts your integrity, your brand is a costume. Let me ask you surgical questions. Are you for sale? What's the price? 5,000 wide under the table? A promotion that demands a small lie? A contract that requires a quiet bribe? Name your price and you have confessed your poverty. Proverbs 4:23 commands, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Everything flows from the inner life, emails, expense reports, late night searches, early morning decisions. If I confiscated your phone for 2 4-hour messages, notes, drafts, deleted items, would it preach your convictions or your compromises? What would your email say about your soul? Would your calendar reveal that you serve purpose or that you serve applause? Would your browser history testify to discipline or to drift? There is no such thing as a private life. Lead with your life. I sat with a seasoned executive, smart, successful, respected, until his 2 a.m. habits wrote his 2 p.m. obituary. He said, Doc, it was just once. No, my friend, it was not once. It was a practice permission written one small yes at a time in the dark. You never fall suddenly. You slide gradually. Write it down. Slipping in secret is sliding in public. Paul confessed his own discipline. I discipline my body and bring it into subjection, lest after preaching to others, I myself should become disqualified. 1 Corinthians 9:27. Character is self-imposed discipline. Not imposed by a boss, not enforced by a badge, self-imposed. You lock yourself in the prison of your principles and you swallow the key. Honesty is my only policy. Let's get practical. Promises are contracts. When you say, I'll be there, you've signed it. When you commit, you are bound. Stop treating your word like weather. Psalm 15 describes the person God approves. The one who swears to his own hurt and does not change. Psalm 15:4. That means if it costs me, I keep it. If it embarrasses me, I own it. If it exposes me, I confess it. Write it down. Lead with your life. If you have contracts, business, relationships, subscriptions, secret arrangements that contradict your convictions, cancel them. Today, tear up the agreement that leases your integrity to convenience. Return the gift, refund the bribe, block the number, unfriend the appetite. Your future is too valuable to finance it with debt from your soul. Now build your constitution. Don't wait for a crisis to decide who you are. Write your non-negotiables this week. Put them on paper. Put them on your desk. Teach them to your children and your team. I do not lie. I do not steal. I do not sleep with anyone who is not my spouse. I do not sign what I haven't read. I do not spend what I didn't earn. I do not promise what I cannot deliver. I return phone calls. I honor the Sabbath. I tithe. I apologize quickly. I forgive fully. I keep confidences. I document truth. I refuse secret meetings in dark places. Write it down and say it until your body obeys it. Repetition rewires, reflex, confession builds conviction. Tell your soul every morning, honesty is my only policy. Honesty is my only policy. Honesty is my only policy. Some of you say, but I'm under pressure. You don't understand. Pressure is not your enemy. Pressure is your x-ray. It reveals what is there. Daniel was the same in the lion's den as he was in the king's court. Joseph was the same in Potiphar's house as he was in Pharaoh's palace. Their 2M matched their 2 PM. Proverbs 20:7 says, the just man walks in his integrity. His children are blessed after him. Your private walk writes generational blessings or generational burdens. There is no such thing as a private life. Your children inherit your secrets as storms. I'm confronting you because I believe in your destiny. Leaders do not manage impressions. They master integrity. Do a midnight audit. Go home and clean your digital closet. Delete what tempts. Archive what accuses. Expose what lingers. Ephesians 5:11 commands, have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them. Shine light on your shadow. Tell someone you trust. Build accountability that bites. Put money where your mouth is. If you violate your non-negotiable, pay a price you will feel. Discipline is cheaper than disgrace. Write it down. Finally, bless your future by deciding today, who are you at 2 a.m.? Decide it at 2 p.m. Seal it at 6 a.m. Live it at noon. Be one person everywhere. The shepherd watches in the quiet and he rewards in the open. Your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly. Matthew 6:6. That is a law. Live loudly in the light because you were holy in the dark. When your secrets are clean, your authority is clean. When your heart is guarded, your leadership is guarded. Consistency in secret legitimizes authority in public. Lead with your life. You face the mirror at 2 a.m. Now I will hand you the map. Leadership that people willingly follow is not magic. It is method. Write this down. 5 disciplined behaviors turn titles into trusted influence. Practice them daily until your reflex is righteous and your reputation is reliable. Fruit is not an accident. Fruit is a regimen. Behavior 1. Submit to principles, not moods. Principle is the law. Mood is the weather. Laws don't change. Weather does. Let all things be done decently and in order. 1 Corinthians 14:40. That is a law. You can ignore it, but you cannot disagree with it. When your decisions are anchored to principles, your team can predict you even when they can't predict the market. Scheduled by standards, not by stress. Correct by policy, not by irritation. Spend by budget, not by impulse. Before you sign a contract, sign your constitution. When a leader wakes up and references law, not feelings, positional authority converts into predictable trust. Tweet that. Principle-driven constancy is leadership's insurance policy. Behavior 2. Serve with your gift fruit, not noise. Stop selling yourself. Solve a problem. The tree doesn't advertise, it bears. By their fruits you shall know them. Matthew 7:16. A man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. Proverbs 18:16. Write it down. Your gift is your fruit. The room you are chasing will invite you when your gift starts feeding people consistently. Make meetings shorter and solutions sharper. Replace presentation with performance. Answer pain, and people will follow you to where the pain stops. Noise needs a microphone. Fruit needs a basket. Bring baskets. Bring results. Bring relief. True leaders never seek followers. They attract them because they serve. Behavior 3. Protect trust with an integrated life. Collapse the gap between public and private. There is no such thing as a private life. Psalm 15 celebrates the one who swears to his own hurt and does not change. Psalm 15:4. That is integrity, oneness under pressure. Your words are heavy or hollow depending on your hidden life. Protect trust by aligning your calendar with your creed, your expenses with your ethics, your text with your testimony. If it would shame you on a screen, don't type it in the dark. If it would ruin your child to repeat it, don't whisper it at midnight. Character is self-imposed discipline. Lock yourself in the prison of your principles and swallow the key. When public and private merge, your influence becomes seamless and safe. Behavior 4, deploy people into purpose, not just task. Employment fills a slot. Deployment releases a calling. Leaders are gardeners. They locate seeds and place them in the right soil. Ephesians 4:12 says, leaders equip the saints for the work of ministry deployment. Moses learned it from Jethro. Select capable men and appoint them. Exodus 18:21. Write it down. Stop asking only, can you do this? Start asking, were you born for this? When people labor where their gift lives, productivity accelerates, morale rises, and your influence multiplies beyond your presence. You won't need to push, purpose will pull. Assign by design, not by desperation, and watch force become unnecessary. Behavior 5, steward the 3 tests: power, money, sex, by building boundaries before opportunities arrive. These are the gates where leaders win or weep. Daniel resolved not to defile himself before the king's table was served. Daniel 1-8. Resolution precedes promotion. Establish power boundaries, shared authority, open calendars, mentors who can say no. Establish money boundaries, transparent books, audited accounts, tithing hands, contented hearts. The love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. 1 Timothy 6:10. Establish sexual boundaries, clear travel rules, glass doors, visible texting, fast exits, covenant eyes. Flee also youthful lust. 2 Timothy 2:22. Don't trust the moment to manage the appetite. Write it down. Walls erected in peace will save your crown in war. This is your roadmap. Keep it simple and sacred. Each behavior converts force to fruit. Principles create predictability. Gifts create provision. Integrity creates trust. Deployment creates multiplication. Boundaries create safety. Teach these 5 to your team. Post them on the wall. Measure leaders by them. Reward against them. Correct toward them. The kingdom math is consistent. When fruit shows up, force becomes unnecessary. Choose the disciplined path today, and your title will become testimony. Lead with your life. Behavior 1 begins with a revolution in your management of self. Submit to principles, not moods. Laws do not ask how you feel. Gravity does not check your calendar. The alphabet does not sympathize with your stress. A is A. At 2 a.m. in Accra and at 2 p.m. in Atlanta. Write it down. Principles are fixed. Preferences fluctuate. You can ignore a principle, but you can never disagree with it. If you break a principle, that principle will break you back. Favor does not suspend law. Moods are weather. Principles are climate. Weather changes every hour. Climate remains for ages. If your leadership is governed by weather, your people need an umbrella every meeting. If your leadership is governed by climate, they can build houses. Tweet that. Scripture is unapologetic about this. Forever, O Lord, your word is settled in heaven. Psalm 119-89. Settled means fixed. Fixed means predictable. Predictable means trustworthy. Let all things be done decently and in order. 1 Corinthians 14:40. Order is a principle. You can sing in tongues while you violate order, and the consequence will still arrive on schedule. Jesus said, heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will by no means pass away. Matthew 24-35. Words that never pass away are principles that must preside. Holiness is oneness. Oneness is integrity. Integrity is living the same principle in every place. Principle-driven constancy converts positional authority into predictable trust. Write that down and teach it to your team. Now watch the contrast. A boss reacts to pressure. A leader refers to principles under pressure. Crisis hits, sales dip, a client threatens, a headline burns. The boss panics. reverses yesterday's policy, emails at midnight with exclamation points, and punishes the nearest person to feel powerful again. The next day, a new mood brings a new mandate. People learn to survive, not to serve. But a leader does not consult adrenaline. A leader consults constitution. The leader asks, what does our law say? Not civil law first, internal law. What does our principle say about time in this crisis? What does our principle say about truth in this report? What does our principle say about people in this conflict? Write it down. When pressure rises, principle must speak louder than panic. Build a decision filter that your whole culture can quote in their sleep. Time, truth, people. Time, how do we treat time here? Is punctuality an honor code or a suggestion? Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Psalm 90:12. Numbering days is principle. Truth, how do we handle facts, feedback, and failure? Therefore, putting away lying, let each one of you speak truth with his neighbor. Ephesians 4:25. Truth is a principle. People, how do we value dignity in disagreement, correction, and consequence? Whatever you want men to do to you, do also to them. Matthew 7:12. People are a principle. If every decision runs through those three gates, consistency will rise and chaos will fall. Write it down. Time, truth, people. Let me apply it where it bleeds. The meeting is set for 9. At 9:05, you stroll in with coffee and a story. Your mood says, they understand, I'm busy. Your principle says, time is trust in minutes. Which one rules? If principle rules, you arrive 5 minutes early, you start on time, and you apologize to the team the day you are late. That apology is not weakness, it is insulation. It tells everyone our clock is sacred. Next scenario, a mistake hits the account, the vendor calls you out, and your ego wants a soft lie to make it go away. Your mood wants camouflage. Your principle demands clarity. If truth rules, you confess, you correct, you document, and you protect the relationship with integrity. Third scenario, a high performer disrespects a colleague. Your mood says they bring the numbers, look away. Your principle says people are not tools. Dignity is non-negotiable. If people rule, you address it promptly, privately, and proportionately, and your culture hears you say without a microphone, no brilliance can purchase the right to be a bully. That is leadership by law, not by weather. Write this sentence and post it where your eyes can't avoid it. I am ruled by principles. My emotions are employees, not executives. Your emotions can advise, they cannot decide. Proverbs 16:32 declares, he who rules his spirit is better than he who takes a city. Better to conquer your temper than to conquer a market. James says, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. James 1-8. Double-minded means mood managed. Stability comes from single principle. So chain your feelings to your framework. Schedule by standards, not by stress. Budget by policy, not by impulse. Correct by covenant, not by irritation. Matthew 5:37 is your template. Let your yes be yes and your no, no. For whatever is more than these is from the evil one. Fluctuation beyond principle opens a door to manipulation. Close it. Now formalize it. Draft your principle ledger this week. 5 to 7 statements that outrank every feeling you will ever have on a bad day. For example, we tell the truth quickly. We start on time and end on purpose. We honor people publicly and correct privately. We document decisions and submit them to audit. We do not sign what we have not read. We do not spend what we didn't budget. We do not punish without policy. Then make the ledger visible on walls, in onboarding, in performance reviews. When conflict comes, pull the ledger out in the meeting. Replace personalities with principles. If the issue is not in the ledger, write it today. If the behavior violates the ledger, correct it today. You can never disagree with the principle. What happens when you live like this? Anxiety drops. Anticipation rises. Your team stops bracing and starts building. Vendors trust your handshake again. Clients learn your yes carries weight. Your spouse stops guessing which version of you is coming home. Children relax into your rhythm. Predictable trust is born. Proverbs 20:7 says, the righteous man walks in his integrity. His children are blessed after him. Integrity, oneness under principle creates a blessing called predictability. People can plan around you. They can place weight on you. That is influence earned without force. So make the transfer right now. From moods to mandates. From impulse to instruction. From weather to climate. Stand up on the inside and declare to your soul, I am ruled by principles. My emotions are employees, not executives. Write it down. Say it until your cells believe it. And tomorrow morning when the inbox tests you and a problem knocks on your door without an appointment, don't reach for your mood, reach for your law. Principle-driven constancy converts positional authority into predictable trust. Lead with your life. Behavior 2, serve with your gift fruit, not noise. Write it down. Trees do not carry fruit door to door. They bear and you go to them. The orange tree never knocks on your gate with a brochure. It stands rooted, consistent, and heavy with oranges. That weight of fruit pulls you across a field you were not planning to cross. Leadership is the same. True leaders never seek followers. They attract them. Why? Because they feed people. By their fruits you shall know them. Matthew 7:16. Not by their fonts, not by their filters, by their fruit. Tweet that. Stop marketing yourself. Start multiplying results. I did not say marketing is evil. I said marketing without fruit is manipulation. Noise needs a microphone. Fruit needs a basket. Which one did you carry this week? A microphone or a basket? A man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. Proverbs 18:16. It doesn't say your hustle makes room. It says your gift does. Your gift is your fruit, your unique capacity to solve a specific problem reliably. Your gift is not your title, not your job description, not the platform you're begging to borrow. Your gift is the God-installed solution you deliver on schedule. Write it down. Your gift is leadership in a seed. Consider Joseph. His gift was administration with prophetic strategy. He did not campaign for Pharaoh's attention. Famine campaigned for Joseph. When his gift organized grain, the world lined up. Fruit attracted fellowship without force. Bezalel in Exodus 31 was filled with the Spirit of God in wisdom, in understanding, in knowledge, and in all manner of workmanship. He did not host a webinar. He built what God designed. The tabernacle testified. David's harp quieted a tormented king. No ad spend could have opened that door. Fruit opens doors that billboards cannot. Here is the confrontation. Many of you are loud but unfed. You post progress. You rarely produce it. You host meetings, but you don't move needles. You are present in every conversation and absent in every deliverable. That is noise. Fruit is different. Fruit reduces pain, saves time, increases clarity, lowers costs, or elevates quality measurably. Write it down. If I cannot count it, I cannot trust it. James says, show me your faith without your works, and I will show you my faith by my works. James 2:18. Works are fruit. They are visible, verifiable, valuable. So, schedule your gift. Gifts don't grow in general time. They grow in guarded time. Block a weekly fruit window and treat it like surgery. No interruptions. No casual rescheduling. No endless emails. 2 to 3 hours minimum. Laser focus on producing measurable value for someone else. Name the window. Tuesday 7:10 a.m. Build the solution. Thursday 2-4 p.m. Deliver and document. Don't confuse being in motion with bearing fruit. Calendars reveal kingdoms. If your calendar honors hype and starves the gift, your influence will remain anemic. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with your might. Ecclesiastes 9:10. Might is focused energy, not scattered activity. Now, measure fruit, not hype. Ask yourself at the end of every week, what problem did my gift solve this week? Write it down. For whom? What changed because I served? Show me the evidence. Email, metric, prototype, policy, relief in a person's eyes. Keep a fruit ledger beside your principal ledger. Column simple and ruthless. Problem served. Person helped. Product delivered. Proof attached. Date stamped. Review it every Friday. If your ledger fills with meetings you attended and posts you liked, you are counting leaves, not fruit. Jesus said to Peter, "Do you love me? Feed my sheep." John 21:17. Love is measured in feeding, not in talking about feeding. Let me give you a practical map. First, identify your gift with precision. Not "I'm good with people," too vague. Are you a conflict resolver, a systems builder, a numbers translator, a creative simplifier? Second, define the pain your gift is designed to heal. Fruit appears where pain exists. Third, choose one beneficiary segment. Your team, your clients, your congregation, your students, and commit to one repeatable product. Your gift will deliver weekly. A refined process, a diagnostic, a playbook, a prototype, a coaching session that produces transformation, not entertainment. Fourth, test your product in your fruit window and gather testimony. If no one can testify, you have not fed them. Stop chasing platforms. Prepare platters. When you place hot bread on the table consistently, hungry people will find you even if your address is quiet. Whoever desires to become great among you, let him be your servant. Matthew 20:26. Servant is not a posture of pretending. It is a practice of producing. Service through your authentic gift produces the fruit that makes force unnecessary. If your team is not following, ask, what basket did I bring to the table this week? Not a report about fruit, a basket of fruit. Guard the conditions that grow your gift. Soil matters. Prune your schedule. Say no to applause appointments that steal your fruit window. Invest in tools that amplify quality. Study until your gift is sharp enough to cut time in half for other people. Do you see a man skilled in his work? He will stand before kings, Proverbs 22:29. Skill is the sanctified refinement of a gift. Skill puts weight on fruit until people reorganize their calendars around you. Influence arrives when others begin to plan by your reliability. Finally, institute the weekly fruit conversation with your team. No hype, no halos, just baskets on the table. Each person answers 3 questions aloud. What fruit did my gift produce? Who did it feed? What proof do I have? Celebrate fruit. Correct noise. Tie rewards to feeding, not to flashing. The room will change. Anxiety will drop because purpose is working. Invitations will come without begging. Titles will become footnotes to testimonies. The tree will stay rooted and the field will move toward you. Write it down. Produce before you promote. Feed before you advertise. Serve before you signal. Your gift is your orchard. Your schedule is your fence. Your ledger is your harvest record. And when you live like this, the law of attraction is not mysticism, it is agriculture. Sow service, reap influence, bear fruit, retire force, lead with your life. Behavior 3, protect trust with an integrated life. Write it down. Integrity means oneness. The Hebrew confession says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one." Deuteronomy 6:4. One, not many, not split. Holiness is oneness. To be holy is to be whole. Integrity is simply living the same truth in every place. Boardroom, bedroom, browser, and backseat of an Uber. Tweet that. If you are different versions in different rooms, people will not know which one to trust, and distrust is expensive. He who walks in integrity walks securely, but he who perverts his ways will become known. Proverbs 10:9. Known, it will show. There is no such thing as a private life. Secrets are delayed announcements. Write this in bold. Never do anything you don't want anyone to find out about. Live loudly. Jesus settled it. Nothing is hidden that will not be revealed, nor anything secret that will not be known and come to light. Luke 8:17. So don't hide. Integrate. Light is not your enemy. It is your insurance. If your behavior cannot survive exposure, it does not deserve existence. Character is self-imposed discipline. Put yourself under your own law and refuse parole. Your life must read like a single sentence, no forked clauses, no hidden footnotes. Integrity is the weight of your words. Carry what you say. How do we operationalize this? Build a promise calendar. If it doesn't hit the calendar, it wasn't a promise. If you say it, schedule it. If you schedule it, deliver it. If you cannot deliver it, announce it before it embarrasses you. James 5:12 commands, let your yes be yes and your no, no. Convert that into time. Create a weekly ritual called the Promise Reconciliation. Every Friday, line up your spoken commitments against your calendar. Column A, words I gave. Column B, time I blocked. Column C, delivery evidence. Your goal is a 100% promise to delivery ratio. If you drop below 90%, you trigger an integrity response, immediate apology to stakeholders, revised timeline with date stamps, and one preventive fix added to your system so the error cannot repeat. That is how you put weight on words. That is how you make trust measurable. Next, install trust systems that outlive moods. First, 2 signature finances. Money amplifies suspicion, so remove the shadows. Any expenditure beyond an agreed threshold requires 2 signatures, yours and a designated counterweight who can veto you without punishment. No cash-only arrangements. No undocumented favors. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. Romans 12:17 KJV. Build monthly external audits into your budget. Post summary dashboards to your team. Income, outflow, reserves, giving, transparency disarms gossip. Write this down. Secrecy around money is the womb of scandal. Second, written decisions. Verbal leadership is cheap. Written leadership is accountable. Establish a decision log. Within 24 hours of any major decision, you publish 5 lines to the log. What we decided. Why we decided. Which principle we obeyed. Who is responsible? When we will review, track reversals. If you must reverse a decision, log it with the same rigor and the reason tied to principle, not personality. This stops you from blaming people when the principle you ignored bites you back. It also trains your culture to argue with ideas, not with egos. Write the vision and make it plain on tablets, that he may run who reads it. Habakkuk 2:2. If it isn't written, no one can run straight. Third, open door feedback loops. Fear is the silent assassin of truth. Create a 7-2-hour dissent rule. Anyone affected by a decision has 72 hours to raise a principled objection without retaliation. Give them 2 lanes, an open forum, and a private channel that bypasses hierarchy to an ethics officer or elder. Require leaders to publicly thank dissenters for principled pushback. If you punish candor, you promote deceit. Ephesians 4:25 says, speak truth each one to his neighbor, for we are members of one another. Members of one body cannot heal if nerves are numbed. Fourth, glass practices. Live like your life is made of windows. Glass accounts, shared passwords in a sealed vault, visible financial reports, and no private slush funds. Glass communication, office doors with windows. Calendar visibility for top leaders, and no secret meetings that decide lives without minutes. Glass travel, no ambiguous hotel billings, clear rooming policies, and photo documented itineraries when representing the organization. You say, that feels extreme. Write it down. Extremes in transparency are cheaper than headlines in disgrace. Ask Samson and secrecy is safe. Ask Joseph. If visibility is vindication, when Potiphar's wife lied, Joseph's recorded pattern of integrity preserved a destiny. Power does not corrupt. Power reveals. Systems reveal faster and prevent deeper. Now let me confront you where it hurts in the gap between your confession and your clock. Some of you say family first, but your calendar preaches meetings are Lord. Some of you promise excellence, but your inbox is a junkyard of broken deadlines and unread contracts you still sign. Who are you at 2 a.m.? Would your browser history volunteer to introduce you on Sunday morning? Would your expense report lay hands on you and bless you or expose you? Write it down. There is no such thing as a private life. If you would be ashamed to project it on a screen, don't press send, don't swipe, don't sign, don't step, live loudly. Here is a leadership liturgy. Daily vows that weld you into one piece. I tell the truth quickly. I keep time sacred. I document decisions. I submit money to audit. I invite dissent. I correct without humiliation. I confess before I am confronted. I do not text what I cannot testify. I do not sign what I have not read. I do not promise what I have not scheduled. Say it until your soul hears you. He who swears to his own hurt and does not change, Psalm 15:4, qualifies to dwell in the Lord's tent. That is leadership residency, not charisma, constancy. Finally, teach your team that integrity is not perfection, it is prompt correction. When you fail, and you will run to the light faster than the rumor. Name it, own it, repair it, record it, build a guardrail so it cannot happen again. Then keep walking with the same face in every place. People can forgive a confessed mistake. They cannot trust a managed masquerade. Integrity is the weight of your words. Carry what you say. And when you live as one, your life becomes safe to follow. Lead with your life. Behavior 4. Deploy people into purpose, not just tasks. Write it down. Employment gives tasks. Deployment releases purpose. Tasks keep hands busy. Purpose sets hearts on fire. Bosses use people to build empires. Leaders use vision to build people. Tweak that. If your plan requires bodies to move bricks while their souls suffocate, you are not leading, you are managing a labor camp with a mission statement. Where there is no vision, the people cast off restraint. Proverbs 29:18. Vision is not a poster. It is a purpose that locates people. Leaders don't just fill positions, they discover assignments. You can never disagree with this principle. Ephesians 4:11-12 gives God's architecture. Apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, and teachers for the equipping of the saints, for the work of ministry. Equipping means deploying. The goal was never to keep saints spectating while staff perform. The goal is to locate gifts and release them into assignment. Moses learned this under the rebuke of Jethro. You will surely wear out. Select able men, rulers of thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. Exodus 18:21. That is deployment by capacity, not favoritism. Acts 6 did the same, appointing spirit-filled men to handle distribution so the apostles could guard their assignment in prayer and the word. Purpose organized people. Purpose prevented burnout. Purpose multiplied bread and the word. Hear me. Tasks without meaning breed mediocrity. Assignments with authority, birth, ownership. Write it down. Delegate outcomes with authority, not chores with blame. When you delegate a chore, you keep the thinking and hand over the sweating. When you delegate an outcome, you give away decision rights, tools, and the freedom to fail forward. Your job is not to be the genius with 1,000 helpers. Your job is to build a culture of geniuses who don't need your presence to perform. Paul told Timothy, the things you have heard from me, commit these to faithful men who will be able to teach others also. 2 Timothy 2:2. 4 generations in one sentence. Paul, Timothy, faithful men, others also. That is multiplication beyond presence. That is deployment. Let me confront where your structure betrays your sermon. You say, we value people, but your job descriptions are graveyards of generic bullets. You hire to fill a chair, not to fulfill a calling. Then you wonder why enthusiasm expires after orientation. Write it down. Stop hiring for tasks. Start deploying for purpose. Build a purpose profile for every role. 3 pages, not 30. Page 1. Design the gift cluster required. Romans 12:1. Corinthians 12 language. Perceiver, server, teacher, exhorter, giver, ruler, mercy, eye, hand, ear. What part of the body are we seeking? Page 2. Assignment, name the pain this role must reliably heal in our world. Page 3, authority, clear decision rights, budget bans, tools, and the principles that govern judgment calls. If you cannot state the pain to heal and the authority to act, you are not ready to hire. You are preparing to oppress. Now, design by strengths. Put people where their difference makes a difference. Joseph was not deployed to sing. He was deployed to store. David was not deployed to carry Saul's armor. He was deployed to swing a sling. Do you see a man skilled in his work? He will stand before kings. Proverbs 22:29. Skill locates you. Leaders must locate skill. Conduct a strengths map of your team this month. Sit each person down and ask 4 questions out loud. What do you do that feels like breathe, not grind? What pain do you feel protective about when others ignore it? What do people consistently thank you for? Where have you produced fruit without permission? Document it. Then reframe roles around those answers. You are not promoting rebellion. You are stewarding design. The Lord is one. Integrity is oneness. Deploy people in a way that keeps them one. Delegation must include 3 C's. Clarity, capacity, and covering. Clarity: define the outcome in a sentence. Reduce customer resolution time from 72 hours to 24 hours by Q3. Outcome, not activity. Capacity: resource the assignment. Training, budget, tools, access. Don't send them to war with wooden swords. Covering: publicly transfer authority. From today, Maria owns customer care outcomes. She can approve refunds up to X, redesign workflows, and escalate vendor contracts. When you do this in public, you protect her from saboteurs who used to run everything through you. That is how leaders create owners, not order takers. Shift your metrics. Write it down. Measure ownership, learning, and impact. Not just hours and emails. Hours are legal. Ownership is moral. Emails are noise. Impact is fruit. John 15:16 says, I chose you and appointed you that you should go and bear fruit, and that your fruit should remain. Fruit that remains is impact over time. Install an ownership index in performance reviews. Do they anticipate issues or always react? Do they propose solutions with cost-benefit analysis? Do they close loops without being chased? Next, a learning velocity score. How many new skills did they acquire this quarter? What mistake did they convert into a documented improvement? Finally, an impact ledger. What changed? Time saved, cost reduced, quality increased, people developed. Attach proof. If you compensate attendance and ignore advancement, you are discipling drones. Create a deployment meeting rhythm. Once a month, no operations talk, only purpose. Each leader brings 2 items. A people map, who is underutilized, miscast, or ready for stretch assignment, and a purpose pipeline. What assignments are coming that require new deployments? In that meeting, you move names, not just numbers. You free the worshiper stuck in spreadsheets and the analyst trapped in pastoral care. You also celebrate shadow leadership wins that happen without you. Applaud the decision you did not make that served the vision well. Tell that story until the culture believes you mean it. Influence multiplies when leaders stop hoarding decisions. Let me give you a simple field test. For every direct report, answer these 3 statements and show them your paper. I know your gift. Here is the pain your role heals. Here is the authority you carry. If you cannot do that, you are employing. You are not deploying. And for God's sake, stop delegating blame. If the project fails, you stand in front of the consequence and you coach in private. Cover them while you correct them. That is how trust grows ribs. Remember Acts 6 again. The apostles did not say, we're too important for tables. They said, it is not desirable that we should leave the word of God and serve tables. Both were holy. Each had its assignment. When you deploy rightly, prayer does not have to apologize to logistics, and logistics does not have to covet the pulpit. Peace replaces competition. Systems start singing. Write this down and put it where your pride can see it. When you deploy people into purpose, your influence multiplies beyond your presence. That is not poetry. That is law. If your organization collapses when you travel, you have not led. You have performed. Leaders outlive their schedule by who they have sent. So go home today and rewrite roles as assignments. Delegate outcomes with authority. Build by strengths. And change the scoreboard to ownership, learning, and impact. Then step back and watch fruit appear in places your feet have never stood. Lead with your life. Behavior 5. Steward the 3 tests: power, money, sex. Write it down. These are the only three that will tell the truth about you. Not the conference, not the camera, not the compliments. Power, money, and access to sex. You can ignore that. You can never disagree with that principle. Every politician, preacher, parent, or CEO who ever collapsed did so at one of these three intersections. Why? Because power magnifies, money multiplies, and sex mesmerizes. Power does not corrupt. Power reveals. Money does not create greed. Money exposes it. Sex does not create lust. Access unmasks it. Tweet that. This is not cynicism. It is law. And laws never change. God established the order from the beginning. Let us make man in our image and let them have dominion. Genesis 1:26. Image before dominion. Character before power. Why? Because power will kill you without character. Authority is safe only in an integrated soul. If you build influence without boundaries, your gift becomes a highway to your own funeral. Write it down. You don't build the fence during the storm. You set the fence when the sun is shining. Consider Joseph and Samson, two men with power and two different outcomes. Joseph was handsome, gifted, and promoted. But when Potiphar's wife grabbed his coat and said, "Lie with me," Joseph answered, "How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God?" Genesis 39:9. He didn't negotiate. He fled. He left the coat and kept his character. He passed the sex test. Then money and power came, control of grain in a global famine, a budget none could question. Yet he fed the nations and refused revenge against his brothers. Am I in the place of God? You meant evil, but God meant it for good. Genesis 50:19-20. Power revealed his integrity. Money enlarged his stewardship. Authority became safe in an integrated life. Samson was different. Nazirite vow, unusual strength, but he touched dead lions, drank what he shouldn't, played with what he vowed to avoid. Delilah asked for the secret. He toyed with truth until the haircut matched the heart. He did not know that the Lord had departed from him. Judges 16:20. Power made him a spectacle before it made him a slave. Eyes out, grinding in Gaza. Hear me, your hair can grow back, but some platforms never return. Power revealed what was already fractured. Write this down. Success without fences is simply a slower fall. So, install boundaries before the test. I am not talking about suggestions. I am talking about laws you submit to self-imposed discipline. Character is self-imposed discipline. Lock yourself in the prison of your principles and throw away the key. Create separation of powers in your world. You cannot be the vision caster, the only spender, and the only auditor. That is a monarchy of me. Split power so you cannot hurt the people you love. Establish a board or an elder council with real teeth. Build due process. Recuse yourself from decisions where your emotions or relatives are involved. Write it down. If you can veto every veto, you have no accountability. Now, money. Luke 12:15. Beware of covetousness, for a man's life does not consist in the abundance of things he possesses. First principle, transparent budgets. Post summary dashboards, monthly, income, expenses, reserves, giving, no fog. Second, two signature rule for expenditures beyond an agreed threshold. You sign a counterweight signs. No cash envelopes tucked under ministry labels. Third, gift registry and conflict of interest statements. If a vendor, congregant, or client gives you something beyond a modest value, you register it. If it compromises impartiality, you return it. Fourth, pre-commit generosity. It is more blessed to give than to receive. Acts 20:35. Generosity is greed's antidote. Set a percentage above your comfort and automate it. Don't wait to feel generous. Legislate it. Fifth, audited books annually by an external firm. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. Romans 12:17, KJV. Write this down. Secrecy around money is the womb of scandal. Power boundaries next. Install a decision log and time-bound authority. Term reviews every 12 months where the culture evaluates not your charisma but your compliance with principle. Publicly codify your right to be corrected. Mandate succession, thinking no one, including you, is indispensable. Never travel without deputized authority at home who can say no to your impulses remotely. Decouple compensation decisions from your personal discretion. Let a compensation committee set your salary to save you from your appetite and your critics. When he was strong, his heart was lifted up to his destruction. 2 Chronicles 26-16. Strength without submission is suicide. Sex boundaries must be non-negotiable. Flee also youthful lusts. 2 Timothy 2:22. Flee. Don't counsel your hormones. Install the flight path before the temptation lands. Guard your eyes, your time, and your alone spaces. No private meetings in sealed rooms, glass doors, visible calendars. Never counsel the opposite sex alone. Bring a third person or use visible public space. Set a texting curfew. Stop private DMs after business hours with anyone who is not covenant family. Travel policies. No shared rides alone with someone you're attracted to. No adjoining hotel rooms with unclear charges. Receipts for everything. Social media boundaries. Do not like seduction. It trains your soul to browse what you must never touch. Do not let your heart turn aside to her ways. Proverbs 7:25. And for married leaders, honor your spouse publicly and consistently. Date them. Protect them. Let your team know your covenant is your crown. For single leaders, create a purity plan, mentors, check-ins, curfews, and consecrated friendships that don't flirt with fire. 1 Corinthians 6:18 says, flee sexual immorality. Flee is a strategy, not an emotion. Establish a 2-4-hour confession rule. If you cross a boundary lingering message, suggestive comment, clandestine coffee, confess within 24 hours to your accountability partner, and if relevant, to your spouse or board. Sin grows in the dark. Cut its oxygen. Integrity is not perfection. It is prompt correction. Say it with me. Name it. Own it. Repair it. Record it. Build a guardrail so it cannot happen again. Let me give you 3 audits to run weekly. Power audit. Did I use authority this week to serve or to show off? Who benefited people or my ego? Where did I invite dissent? Money audit. Did money move through me cleanly? Can I show the document? What did I give that cost me? Sex. Purity audit. Did I flee or flirt? What content needs to be removed? Which conversation requires a respectful exit and a boundary reset? Write it down. What you do regularly is what you really believe. Jesus modeled the triad in the wilderness. Turn stones to bread, provision. Jump from the temple, presumption and power. Bow for the kingdom's wealth and glory, Matthew 4:1-11. He answered each test with, it is written. Principle before appetite. Image before dominion. You can never disagree with the principle. If the Son of God passed by pre-commitment to Scripture, what makes you think you can improvise in a hotel lobby at midnight? Here are your vows. Say them until your soul believes you. I submit my power to principle. I steward money as trust. I honor sex as covenant. I do not meet in secret where my future can be stolen. I do not spend what I cannot justify. I do not touch what is not mine. I put windows in my life. I run to the light before the rumor. He who swears to his own hurt and does not change, Psalm 15:4, is safe to follow. Passing the big 3 tests seals your legitimacy to lead. Not your title, not your stage, your fences, your fruit. Lead with your life. We have guarded the gates. Now let us pour the concrete. Write it down. Philosophy produces values. Values produce morals. Morals inform ethics. Ethics shape character, and character becomes lifestyle. That is the cascade. That is the construction. Romans 12:2 says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Mind philosophy. Renewed thought creates consistent values. Consistent values create predictable morals. Predictable morals codify as ethics. Ethics practiced become character. Character repeated becomes lifestyle. And lifestyle sustains leadership when applause is gone. Tweet that. Vision without values is destiny without discipline. You can never disagree with that principle. Jesus ended the Sermon on the Mount with a construction lesson. Whoever hears these sayings of mine and does them, I will liken him to a wise man who built his house on the rock, and it did not fall. Matthew 7:24-25. Hearing and doing turn sayings into structure. Sayings are philosophy. Doing becomes lifestyle. The storm is not your problem. Your unbuilt philosophy is. Leaders collapse not because of rain, but because of sand. So let's build rock. Draft your constitution. Nations write constitutions because people are unstable. You are a nation walking. You need law. Write it down and sign it. Article 1. 5 convictions, non-negotiables, that do not bow to mood or market. I will give you a template. You craft your language. 1. God is owner. I am steward. The earth is the Lord's. Psalm 24:1. I do not own power, people, or property. I steward them under God. 2. Image before dominion, character, governs all power I touch. Genesis 1:26. 3. Truth over optics. Honesty is my only policy. I will not buy praise with lies. 4. People are ends, not tools. No manipulation, ever. Authority exists to serve design, not to use desire. Mark 10:45. 5. Purpose over popularity. If a choice forces me to choose between applause and assignment, I choose assignment. Write it down. Convictions are the rails that keep your gift from jumping tracks. Article 2. 5 boundaries, fences that protect your future from your appetite. 1. There is no such thing as a private life. Live glass. No secret meetings that decide lives without minutes. Calendars visible to those who cover you. Luke 8:17. 2. Two-signature money and external audits. No unvetted expenditures beyond threshold. Gift registry for anything that can buy your judgment. Romans 12:17, KJV. 3. Purity policies, never counsel the opposite sex alone. Visible spaces, texting, curfews, flee, don't negotiate. 1 Corinthians 6:18. 4. Decision, law. And 7. 2-hour dissent. What we decided, why we decided, which principle we obeyed. Dissent protected, not punished. Ephesians 4:25. 5. Sabbath and study one day every week, where you stop producing and renew philosophy and scripture and reflection. Exodus 20:8, Psalm 1. Boundaries are love for your future. Lock yourself in the prison of your convictions and throw away the key. Article 3. 5 daily disciplines, habits that cement philosophy into lifestyle. 1. Morning alignment. Scripture first. And it is written for the day. Jesus answered the test with preloaded truth. You must preload too. Matthew 4:4. 2. Promise calendar before 9 a.m. Schedule every promise or retract it. Your yes must find time or it is a lie. James 5:12. 3. Generosity first transaction. Automate giving so money learns who is Lord in your world. Acts 20:35. 4. Accountability. Touch point. Send your integrity snapshot every evening. What I did, where I was weak, what guardrail I added. Integrity is prompt correction. 5. Gift service block 30 minutes daily of non-compulsory service with your gift to someone who cannot pay you back. Fruit over noise. 1 Peter 4:10. Habits. Write your biography one sunrise at a time. Now institutionalize it. Your constitution is not poetry, it is policy. Codify principles in your organization so culture protects what charisma can never carry. Incentives, promotions, and bonuses linked to trust indices, not just targets. Ownership index, learning velocity, impact ledger. If a leader hits numbers but violates transparency, they do not advance. Penalties clear, written, proportionate consequences for boundary breaches applied without favoritism. If a board member or your best salesperson crosses the ethics line, the policy crosses them back. You can never disagree with the principle. Policy without penalty is a pillow for hypocrisy. Tie your constitution to the budget. Money reveals values. Fund audits, training, and whistleblower protection. Reward dissent that saves the mission from error. Celebrate documented reversals when principle corrects personality. Embed the 2 4-hour confession rule as due process, not an exception. Confess, repair, document, and add a preventive fix. Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself. Daniel 1-8, purpose in the heart must become process in the handbook. Titus 1:5 says, set in order the things that are lacking. Set in order. Order is love for people you will never meet. Command yourself. Leaders who cannot command themselves disqualify themselves. Paul said, I discipline my body and bring it into subjection, lest I myself should become disqualified. 1 Corinthians 9:27. Discipline is not punishment. It is pre-commitment. Talk to your soul like David. Bless the Lord, O my soul. Tell your eyes what they may see. Tell your hands what they may sign. Tell your feet where they may not go. Put your phone to bed before you go to bed. Lock your appetite behind your values and give the key to your future, not your feelings. Make it covenantal. Have your spouse, your board, and your senior team sign the Constitution with you. Read an article aloud at the start of each leadership meeting. Tell a case law story, how the Constitution decided a gray area. Publish a summary for your people in plain language. Train new hires in principles before procedures. Require annual reaffirmation with a short open book test questions about what matters most. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Joshua 24-15. House means household, organization, tribe. You are declaring jurisdiction for your culture. Let me confront you with love. If it isn't written, it won't be done. If it isn't scheduled, it isn't serious. If it isn't measured, it won't mature. If it isn't enforced, it doesn't exist. Write it down. Tweet it. Codified values. Practice daily. Become a lifestyle strong enough to carry leadership. Not your gift, not your title, your constitution, your rhythms, your fences, your fruit. Build on rock. Then when wind mocks and water slaps and newspapers hunt, your house will stand, not because you talked about principles, but because you live them. Lead with your life. History is a mirror and the judge. Write it down. History rewards integrated leaders and exposes fragmented bosses. You can never disagree with that principle. Proverbs 10:9 says, he who walks with integrity walks securely, but he who perverts his ways will become known. Become known for what? For fruit or for fallout? For building people or for breaking trust? Lead with your life. Consider an exemplar the world already cited in her applause. Nelson Mandela. 27 years in prison did not make him bitter. It made him integrated. Convictions went into the cell and convictions came out of the cell. That is character unchanging under pressure. I sat with statesmen, CEOs, pastors across continents who all confessed the same mystery. Why did nations trust him quickly? Because vows survive violence. He forgave without forgetting justice. He invited former jailers to his inauguration. That is fruit, not force. Proverbs 18:16 says, a man's gift makes room for him. Your gift opens the door. Write this down. Only your character can furnish the room. Tweet that. Image before dominion. Power did not change him. Power revealed him. And the world followed, not because he shouted, but because he stayed one man in every room. Integrity is oneness. Now let's bring it into your building at 4:45 p.m. on a Friday. A deadline is on fire. The client is waiting. Two supervisors stand up. The boss storms in, voice high, threats higher. If this isn't done by midnight, heads will roll. I don't care how, just make it happen. He leaves fear, but not fuel. He keeps the thinking and delegates the sweating. People retreat into silos, hide mistakes, and pad hours. What happens? Activity spikes, quality drops, and blame looks for a back to land on. That is force. That is fragmentation. The leader walks in differently. Tone low, eyes clear. Team, this deliverable matters because it protects the client's launch and our reputation for reliability. Here's the critical path. He clarifies purpose. We remove 3 non-essentials now. He removes obstacles. You 2 own testing. You 4 own content. I'm escalating IT access and staying here until we ship. If anything fails, it's on me. He takes responsibility. He orders dinner, opens a visible progress board, and keeps asking, what do you need? People breathe. Gifts locate themselves. Errors surface early because shame has no chair. Midnight comes and the product ships with integrity. On Monday, he credits the team in public and documents what to fix. That is influence. John 10:11. The good shepherd gives his life for the sheep. The boss uses sheep to save himself. The leader uses himself to save the sheep. Write it down. Fruit follows covering. Fear follows coercion. Let me warn you with love. Everything you build can be destroyed in 5 seconds. Ask the headlines. Ask the mega church that evaporated in a weekend. Ask the unicorn startup that crashed on a leaked text. Ask the mayor with the burner phone. Numbers 32-23 says, be sure your sin will find you out. Ecclesiastes 10:1 adds, dead flies make the perfumer's ointment give off a stench. So a little folly outweighs wisdom and honor. Decades of wisdom, 5 seconds of folly. The scale tips and the fragrance rots. You can ignore it. You can never disagree with it. A secret click, an undeclared gift, a temper that bruises souls in closed rooms. 5 seconds. Headlines do not destroy you. Hypocrisy does. We have models on both sides of Scripture. Daniel purposed in his heart not to defile himself and outlive 4 kingdoms. Daniel 1-8, 6:28. Lions could not digest integrity. Joseph guarded covenant and governed famine. The ring on his hand did not swallow his soul. Genesis 39:41. Contrast Saul. I feared the people and obeyed their voice. 1 Samuel 15:24. He kept trophies. God said to kill, save face, and lost the kingdom. Fragmentation. Character cracks when applause becomes a drug. Write it down. If people's approval can hire you, their disapproval can fire you. Principle is your only employer. Hope with sobriety now. Integrity is costly. Scandal is catastrophic. Choose your price. Integrity demands saying no to profitable shortcuts, returning seductive gifts, stepping down for a season to repair your soul, apologizing in public when you failed in public. That is expensive. But scandal will invoice you for everything: marriage, children's honor, staff morale, lifetime credibility. Psalm 15 describes who may dwell with God. He who walks uprightly and works righteousness and speaks the truth in his heart. He swears to his own hurt and does not change. Psalm 15:2-4. Swear to your own hurt. Keep your word when it costs you a bonus. Keep your boundaries when it costs you a meeting. Keep your promise when it costs you popularity. Let me ask you straight. What 5 seconds are stalking your future? Which DM? Which invoice? Which secret anger? Which private joke? Write it down. Never do anything you don't want announced. Lock your appetite behind your values and throw away the key. And if you have already crossed the line, run to the light before the rumor. Confess within 24 hours. Name it. Own it. Repair it. Record it. God can forgive, people can heal, but trust returns on a slow boat called consistency. Galatians 6-9 promises, in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart. Due season belongs to the integrated. So choose today the legacy you desire. Do you want to be a headline or a history maker? Do you want staff who salute out of fear, or sons and daughters who build beyond your shadow? Write it down. History is a court where only character testifies. Fruit outlives force. Let your life become the evidence. Build your constitution. Keep your fences. Pass your test. Deploy your people. And when storms mark your roof, you will still be standing, because you did not just preach principles. You practice them. Lead with your life. We have looked in the mirror of history and scripture. Now we must sign our names. Covenants, not emotions, carry futures. Write it down. Destiny honors decisions, not desires. Joshua faced tribes with options and said, choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Joshua 24-15. Choice, covenant, continuity. Today is your choosing day. Not tomorrow, today. Because storms don't make leaders. Storms reveal what you built yesterday. So we bind ourselves to daily disciplines so purpose can serve people through us without force. Say your vows out loud. Your soul needs to hear your mouth. I do not lie. I do not steal. I do not use people. I serve purpose with my gift. Again, slowly now. I do not lie. I do not steal. I do not use people. I serve purpose with my gift. James 5:12 says, let your yes be yes and your no, no. Psalm 15:4 honors the one who swears to his own hurt and does not change. So add these clauses. My yes finds time on my calendar, or it is not a yes. My signature carries weight because character is the weight of my words. I will not buy applause with dishonesty. I will not buy speed with shortcuts. I will not buy influence with seduction. Honesty is my only policy. Write it down and tweet it to somebody right now. There is no such thing as a private life. Lead with your life. So here is your daily audit. Set an alarm if you must. 3 questions before you sleep and before you speak. 1. Who was I at 2 a.m.? Not what did I post at noon. Who was I when no one expected me? Was my screen holy? Was my tone gentle with those who can't promote me? Psalm 139:12 says, the night shines as the day. Darkness is not dark to God. It should not be dark to you. 2. What fruit did I deliver today? Not noise, not busyness, fruit. Galatians 5:22-23 lists it. Love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Did anyone taste those because I showed up? Trees don't bring fruit to you. They stand and the hungry come. True leaders never seek followers. They serve with fruit and followers find them. 3. Where am I exposed to the 3 tests? Power, money, sex. Name the meeting, the account, the conversation, the hallway. Exposure named is exposure neutralized. If you find a crack, run to the light before the rumor. Name it, own it, repair it, record it. Integrity is not perfection. Integrity is prompt correction. Build rituals that remind your soul who the boss is. Principles. Morning, open the day with an it is written. 1 verse, 1 principle, 1 planned obedience. Noon, generosity transaction. Move money or time to someone who can't pay you back. You are telling greed who is Lord. Evening, accountability snapshot. Text your partner your 3 answers. 2 a.m. identity. Fruit, count, exposure, plan. Do it daily for 90 days. Habits write character into your bones. Write it down. What you do regularly is what you really believe. Now take it to your team. Make principles your first agenda, not your last announcement. 15 minutes each week, non-negotiable. Read 1 article of your Constitution aloud and tell a case story where a standard overruled a mood. Deuteronomy 6 says, you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Post your values on walls, dashboards, and pay stubs. Praise by values, not by volume. Celebrate the analyst who told the uncomfortable truth early. Celebrate the manager who returned the seductive gift. Celebrate the intern who asked for clarity before action. Applause follows alignment. And correct by standards, not by moods. When correction is needed, open the written policy. Show the scripture it anchors. Describe the deviation. Prescribe the repair. And restore with dignity. Ephesians 4:15. Speaking the truth in love. We do not shame. We shepherd. We do not flare. We frame. You can never disagree with the principle. Institutionalize the weekly fruit board. Numbers are good. Fruit is greater. On one side of the board, targets met. On the other side, trust advanced. Who trained someone? Who documented a process? Who caught a mistake early because the culture is safe to speak? Tie rewards to that board. If someone hits revenue but breaks transparency, they do not advance. If someone advances trust but misses the target, coach them. Don't crush them. Power is safe only where principle rules. Seal this with covenant acts. Sign your vows and date them. Have your spouse, your board, your inner circle witness them. Place your sign card where your eyes must cross it before you cross a line on your desk, in your wallet, above your screen. Read it every Monday before you grant permissions. Read it every Friday before you process expenses. Psalm 101:2-3 gives the leader's oath. I will walk within my house with a perfect heart. I will set nothing wicked before my eyes. Make that your tonic. And at the start of each leadership meeting, recite the simple creed. I do not lie. I do not steal. I do not use people. I serve purpose with my gift. Your culture will memorize what you model. Let me confront you with love and send you with fire. A boss uses people. A leader serves purpose. Choose today. Tweet that to somebody right now. If you choose purpose, then bind yourself to disciplines that make force unnecessary. Lock your appetite behind your values and lose the key. Keep windows in your life so the next generation can trust the air they breathe around you. Proverbs 4:23 says, keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it spring the issues of life. Guard it with vows, guard it with audits, guard it with rituals. And when the winds rise and the headlines hunt, you will still be standing, not because you impressed us with noise, but because you fed us with fruit. Lead with your life.